Hello, it's time for my devotional. And so, welcome. Uh, if you follow this channel, you'll know that I wasn't able to get on yesterday. Sorry about that, just the way it was, but I'm on today. And hopefully, today and tomorrow, we'll have our devotional. Of course, this week, Friday is Good Friday. So, I won't be having a devotional on Good Friday. I'll be celebrating the day and here at the church. And so, that'll be a different day. But uh, God bless you as you approach Good Friday and your celebration of it. Anyway, for today, let's take a look at our verse. We've been working through Proverbs one verse at a time, and we're going to do the last verse of chapter 4 today. So it's Proverbs chapter 4, verse 27. It says, "Do not turn to the right nor to the left. Turn your foot from evil." So this comes at the end of this last section of the chapter, this last few verses, as we've been talking about it, this idea of a holistic approach to God's ways in our life, that understanding that we need to apply all of God's ways to all of our lives. And so these verses have been using these images of the body as a way of expressing this idea. And so it talks about the heart, the mouth, the eyes, the feet, and then this one, do not turn to the right or left, I'll suggest is kind of an implication of the hands in a sense, right? Right and left hand. And it's saying don't turn to the right nor to the left. And so, of course, understanding this is there's a sort of an interconnectivity of all the parts of our body to all the other parts of our body and how they work together to create the way we live and all that's there. And of course, it's symbolic. It's not meaning literally your literal heart, literal mouth, and so on, but it's symbolic. And so as we've worked through these verses, it's the idea is to listen to God's ways and apply them to your heart, your inner person, the inner you, deeper than your thoughtful you, right down into the subconscious you, right into your heart. Let God's ways go and seep in and sink in and saturate your heart. That's the idea. And then that out of that flows all the other parts of your life. So there's the mouth, our relationships, how we talk with each other and interact with each other, and the way we relate to the world and everything, and that's all symbolized in this idea of the mouth. And so we guard our mouth and we're careful to be honest and not deceitful, and so our relationships are right. And of course, if our heart's right, it'll flow through into our relationships, and if our relationships are right, it's going to help us grow a good heart. And so then our eyes uses this image of the eye and focus. Where are you looking? What are you moving toward? How are you focusing your life? And so that's very important. And of course, if we focus on something, we're going to tend to move towards it. And if we move our focus off, then we're going to tend to stray or fall. And so the importance in our life of having good focus, right? And then the feet, yes, last time, the feet, the idea of the rhythm, the path, the walk of life, and the deliberateness of that, how we should be very intentional, very deliberate, and being careful of our footing, right? How we walk, how we go about our habits and our lifestyle. And so all of that works together in a holistic sense. And we get to this last verse that says, don't turn to the right or the left. Turn your foot from evil. So the right and the left representatives of evil here. It's the idea of don't stray this way, don't stray that way. Find the middle, proper, right place. God's ways are not one end of a spectrum. God's ways are in the center. And there's a spectrum out from God's ways, if you will, out to going this way or going that way. And God's like, no, neither is good. Don't be too legalistic and don't be too, unlegalistic or, antinomial. Like don't be against law. Don't be licentious. It's like, don't go too far in either of those directions. Stay in God's way, which is a central idea, and instead turn from those other ways into this. And that's what it's saying. And it's the final part of the chapter, of the section, is this idea of finally, you get all these things in place in your life. You get your heart, mouth, eyes, feet, get them all doing what they should be and going where they are. And then it's like, and finally, your decision making. Are you going to turn this way or that way? Your decision making. Make good decisions out of that. All that stuff you've done to make a holistic application of God's ways to your life. Then make decisions. Interesting, that's the last step. The other steps are actually first. And we often think about it the other way around. I have to make good decisions in order to be godly. Right? I'm going to make sure I don't do this and make sure I do that, and then I'll be godly. And And this is kind of implying kind of the opposite. And I think that's a message throughout the Bible. It's from the heart that your decisions get made. It's from the inner being. And so if we do all these things to carefully take care of that, then the decisions that come out of us will be from a good place. And so it's actually the last step. And there's a decision in the beginning to do that. So it's kind of the first step at the same time. So it's holistic, right? There's this holistic approach to this idea. The main decision you're going to make in life, and what this is kind of, it's simplifying life, but it's a really good simplification. The main decision you're going to make in life is to not leave God's ways, to keep going in his ways. And you're going to want to make that decision over and over. It'll take different forms in different situations and circumstances, but it's always the same decision of I'm going to keep following God as my heart, my mouth, my eyes, and my feet have been. So I will continue in that and follow through in that. Life is basically, it's like a series of opportunities to deviate from God's way, right? I know that's kind of a funny way to look at it, but it really is. It's like God says, here's how you should live. And then as you live your life, there's going to be opportunities with every step of your life to turn to the left or turn to the right. And God's saying, don't do it. Instead, turn from those things and stay here. Stay here. Follow through. So in the very first verse of this section, we talked about how the holistic follow through, the idea that we need to do it and continue to do it every day, every choice. Don't turn away from this. Stick to it. So the Bible also uses this word persevere in this. Don't give up on this. Why would anybody deviate? You might ask, and why would that ever happen? And well, it comes from these things. If you have a divided heart, you've divided your heart between God and the world, you're going to deviate. If you've got bad relationship management, the way you're relating to other people is going to largely decide how you're going to make decisions of godliness. It's all about relationship. So if you have bad relationships, or the way you're building your relationships are bad, well, you're going to deviate from God's ways. If you have the wrong focus in life, you're going to deviate from God's ways. If you're not careful about how you walk your life, the rhythms and patterns of your life, you're going to deviate from God's ways. And so it's a decision you have to regularly make every day, not to turn away. Stay on target. Stay on target. And that's the idea of this verse. So for you, my son, give attention to my words, as verse 20 or whatever it was, verse 20 or 19, whichever one, as it said and has been said so many times in the Proverbs. Pay attention to these words. Pay attention. And so you will be able to focus and bring yourself to God's path and stay on God's path. Praise God. So that's verse 27. I did that a little differently. I want to just make a mention here at the end of the video today that we're moving into chapter 5 in our next video. So hopefully, if God permits, then tomorrow we will start chapter 5. And we're going to do a little switch up in the method of how we're doing this. We're still going to go verse to verse, but I've been doing a 4-question method. And just for variety's sake, not for any other reason, just for variety's sake, I'm going to switch the method up. And as we go into chapter 5, I'm going to just do it a little differently. It'll still be about the same length videos and so on, but it'll just be a little different format in how we work our way through the question, just to mix it up and look at it maybe through a little slightly different angle as we go into chapter 5. Anyways, God bless. Have a great day. And Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow.